Right, we're here with Baker University head wrestling coach Cody Garcia. Coach, you guys are now getting ready to really get into the grind of a lot of competitions and duels and opens here in the near future. Where do you feel your squad is right now?
We're in a good place. I mean, this is always an exciting time for us. You come back for that second semester. We get into varsity schedule a little more, where first semester we're doing a lot more opens. And the cohesion of that is a good feel. But I think there's something about there going out and representing your team, your program, your family in a dual environment. That's a healthy place to wrestle. And that's as a wrestler, as you train, you want those opportunities to earn chances to go to represent this program in those type of atmosphere. So that's always an awesome time. We have had a delightfully challenged year at times, I think, with injuries and everything. But man, this group has stayed strong, and really, you get to this point, it's a little easier to kind of take that sprint mentality. We got a month here basically until the regional tournament, for the conference tournament, to put ourselves in position to wrestle a national tournament. And once you get the national tournament, you just trust in that process, and good things can happen.
Yeah, you will go to Missouri Valley this weekend for a big invite, but you were there last week too for a duel and fought and clawed with the number 2 team in the nation. And nearly knocked them off, but talk about that duel and some good things you felt you saw.
Yeah, it was a gritty performance. I mean, I think that's something you want to see, especially at this time of year. We had a great week of training. I thought we were crisp in all our drills. We just seemed to have a lot of pop in what we were doing in the room, and even during interterm with split practice, we do some different things. But like I said, they thrive in that environment. Going into that duel, as before we went out, I said, hey, this is what we've been waiting for, an opportunity to go out and represent this thing and move in the right direction. And I just had a good feel for, like I said, how they drilled that week. But even throughout that duel with tough matches, like I said, gritty matches. David Dow, he gets down 3-0 by an escape and a couple penalty points that are tough things to overcome. Ends up, taking the number 4 ranked guy in the country down 3 times in the third period in overtime. That's grittiness. That was kind of we were joking around, kind of the fire and fury, right? They were asking, well, what are we wearing today? What are we wearing? What's the uniform? So fire and fury. That's the uniform for today. That uniform approach as far as our mentality and our mindset when we went in there and battled, and they did. I mean, all the way through the lineup, even the matches we lost, we made people compete and battle in each position. And if you make it hard for people in every position, good things can happen, especially in the third period when you trust in your training. And I think that's where we're at. We look like the better conditioned team. And because of that, we won 5 out of the 9 matches, and had two matches that we got bonus points and during those from 2 freshmen. So even at that, having a lineup where we have 7 underclassmen in it, that's an exciting thing. If you got 7 underclassmen almost taking out the number 2 team in the country, that's pretty exciting moving forward.
Yeah, now you'll get back to Marshall this weekend, like we mentioned. You'll get a chance to see a lot of different wrestlers and see where your guys are at. But what are your expectations for this weekend at the Missouri Valley Invite?
This is always a great event. I mean, it's essentially a national championship preview. We'll see, an absurd, like 85% of the ranked wrestlers in the country will be at this tournament. So we get to see kind of where we're at, some of the things, but also an opportunity to continue to grow and develop. Like we say, hey, if we're going to be intentional about this next month and put ourselves in position to be in contention to go chase those dreams, this is a good place to figure out kind of some of those gaps we might have to close, or some of those guys, the Jakes and the Lukes, some of these guys that are in the top 10. How do you distance yourself? How do you separate yourself from kind of the elite? And they have an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, let's talk about one wrestler specifically, and that's Jacob Smith. We're featuring him this week, and we'll hear from him after your interview. But talk about him. He's a local kid from KCK, and is just taking his game to another level this year.
He really has. He's a kid that even out of high school, he had some significant wins, some big matches, and how he wrestled. But more importantly, his desire to chase greatness was something that connected us. That shared passion. And he's taken off. He had a great year last year. So a lot of matches that kind of helped him define who he was going to be and the direction he was going to keep moving in. But I think this year he's stepped up that level. I think he was kind of that on contention as far as getting on the podium. Made it to the national tournament. Was right there with some top level guys. I think he is 5-1 against top 8 ranked guys in the country this year. So putting himself in that elite division, I think is important. And like I said, he's still young, still learning how to take on that approach and say, hey, Jake, you can beat these guys. Not only can you beat them, you can beat them bad. And if you can take that approach and take that confidence, man, the sky's the limit. So I've been excited seeing him. And I think he still is yet to make that jump, right? I think there's going to be times where he's winning 3 or 4 point matches, and like, hey, you can send a message in this match. You can win by 8 or 9, and the next time that guy sees your name next to his, he's not going to be as excited. But he has that ability, and that's the most exciting thing about him, and kind of what the next 3 years look like with him, is that, man, when he fires off, when he attacks, he's hard to beat. He's doing a great job with his training and his ability to be coachable, and look at Coach Venegas or Coach Rhodes and say, hey, what do I need to get better at, or even in the room, having some great bodies around him, that makes a big difference. You can see it, and his confidence is continuing to rise.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate your time today. Good luck as you prepare for Missouri Valley Invite this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, we're here today with nationally ranked wrestler Jacob Smith. Jake, how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Well, good. Well, you've had quite a year. You've performed really well, and like I mentioned, you're in the top 5 in the nation in your respective weight class. What's been key to your success so far this season?
Pretty much doing the same stuff I did last year. Always in the wrestling room, just competing well, and I also got returning All-American David Dow I get to work with every day, and also another ranked guy, Lucas, down at 74. So usually just scrapping with those guys every day really keeps me just improving better and better.
Yeah, how important is it? 3 of our top guys are all right around that same weight class, like you mentioned, and you guys work a lot together. But, do you take some things from each other, and do you guys kind of give each other tips, especially you, Lucas, and David?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely, especially wrestling out with Lucas. He transferred in here last year, but he's helped me a lot better in the neutral position, on my feet more. It's made me harder to get taken down, especially not beating a lot of top-ranked guys because of that.
Yeah, you guys have been competing well as a team. You guys nearly knocked off Missouri Valley the other night in a duel, and now you go on to Missouri Valley in a really highly competitive invite. What have you guys been doing to prepare for this weekend's invite?
We've done a lot more live situations now, working more on our feet and top and bottom. I know we were really close on beating Missouri Valley, but I think this weekend will be good for us. We're going to see a lot of more top-ranked guys, especially me. I'll get to wrestle some of the good guys that I usually won't be able to see until nationals. So I'm pretty excited for the tournament.
Yeah, let's talk about also, what's been kind of fun is this Baker bonus belt. We saw that a couple weeks ago at the duel, and it's kind of a neat idea. Talk about that, and do you guys talk about it during practice and things like that? Break down this new belt tradition.
So the Baker bonus belt pretty much is if you score a major decision, so if you beat them by 8-0 or you get a tech fall or a pin, you pretty much get to wear the belt until the next guy gets it. So kind of what we saw at the last home duel is kind of like we were fighting against it. As like Lucas got it, and then I got it, and then David got it. But it's just a kind of get the crowd into it, get more exciting, especially for us. Like fight a little bit more for it, especially because it looks cool to wear it. So.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
Also, you're from Kansas City, Kansas area, not too far away. What's it been like to be able to come somewhere and compete in college so close to home?
It's really nice. I mean, just to have my family be able to come pretty close to see me wrestle. We generally kind of stay around the KC area, so it's nice for them to come see how well I've been doing, especially back like old high school teammates and high school coaches. They always be able to come here and see how well I've been doing.
And last thing for you, everything ultimately leads up to nationals, which will take place again in early March. But for you personally, what are your goals and what do you hope to accomplish later on this year?
Well, I know I can All-American for sure this year. I've been wrestling great. I know if I just keep doing what I've been doing every day, I can get there. But I feel like I can make it to the national championship finals this year. I just got to beat a couple of those guys that are ranked above me. But if I just keep working hard in the wrestling room, I think I can get there.
We appreciate your time. We've enjoyed watching you and your teammates wrestle this year, and we look forward to seeing you the next couple months.